Everyone is talking about obsession, the movie where a shy guy buys a wooden stick called One Wish Willow, snap it and magically forces his crush to love him. But here is what everyone is missing. The One Wish Willow is not a magic. It is a $6 or a $7 novelty toy sold in dusty crystal shop by cashier who doesn't care about to a desperate and emotionally starving young man. This is not a horror movie about magic. This is a horror movie about sales. Let me show you how these sales work. We're walking to shop looking for the replacement necklace. The cashier noticed him, a nervous, insecure young man desperate to impress his crush. She does not sell him a cure, she sells him a hope. She tells him they have been selling a lot of these willow and those that comes back are often mad over the product. Mad, not happy, not satisfied, mad. She is admitting a customer returned angry, but she never explained why. She lets their imaginations fill in the blanks. This is a perfect sale tactics. You don't sell the product. You sell the possibility. You let the customer convince themselves. Beer buys it. He pays $6 for a small wooden stick in a retro packing. Nothing scary, nothing supernatural. But here is the dark genius. The product comes with customer service number on box, helpline when beer calls. You reach a board. It's a pathetic call center's employee who tells him just because you choose this for her doesn't make it less real. This is not a supernatural entity, this is a corporation. The manufacturer is Tabby Cat Curiosities Inc., a company that mass produces these toys. His packaging helpline and takes absolutely no responsibility for misunderstanding. This is a business, not a curse. Now, how does a tiny wooden stick obsess Nikki? The movie wants you to believe it's supernatural, but here is the truth. The willow does not create love. It's a strict Nikki of her autonomy. She blacks out. She commits violent act. She can't explain. She slowly seems to be herself. Her identity collapsed under the weight of fish she never consented to. So it sounds like what happens when someone's free will is systematically erased. It sounds like corrective control, coercive control. It sounds like possessions, not by demon, but by a man fantasy. And here is a devastating irony. Here is the only person in their entire social structure who never knew that the Nikki despised her father. For someone who claims to have loved her for years, he barely knows her at all. He was never in the love with her. He was in love with or enough her to build entirely inside his own head. The willow didn't create that delusional beer, already had it. So what is the real lesson of obsession? This is a point. Beer and Nikki were both emotionally frustrated, both starving for connection, both unable to express themselves. Beer could have Beer could have confessed his feeling. He could have faced rejection. He could have done the vulnerable, terrifying work of telling Nikki the truth. But he didn't. He took a shortcut, he bought a product, he made a wish. The One Wish Willow is a trash, it is a paper and wood. It belongs in the trash can. It did not create a love, it stripped Nikki of her identity, her autonomy, and her humanity. Love is not a wish, love is a choice. And every day we make that choice, not with a stick, not with a spell, but with a courage, honestly, and respect for each other's freedom. That is the lesson of obsession. Thank you very much for watching and listening me. Please do subscribe. Thank you very much.